If you had to define depression for our viewing audience, how would you define it?
So the way I think about depression is in very personal terms. You can look in the diagnostic manual of the American Psychiatric Association and you can read through the list of symptoms. I don't really recommend that people do that. I think there's a more basic way that we can understand depression. And the first point I want to make is that depression is not normal sadness. I'm going to say that again. It is not normal sadness. I think a lot of folks are, I think, too loose with that word depression. They say, oh, I'm depressed. What they're really saying is I'm just kind of having a bad day, a slow day. That is not depression.
There is a difference.
Oh, it's a clinical difference. And so, for example, one way I think we ought to think about this is that you really, truly don't feel like you are your normal self. I think all of us have a sense of, who we are, what we like to do during the day. So, for example, when I get up in the morning, I'm fired up and ready to go. I've had a period in my life where I was going through a very, very low period due to the loss of a child. So I was just devastated from the whole experience. So I didn't feel like getting up in the morning. Even though I had a job to go to, I didn't want to. The thing I enjoy most in the morning is a good hot shower. When I was going through this depressive episode, the thought of getting up and turning on the water and stepping into that shower seemed like an insurmountable task. Those are the kinds of things that you can look at to start to figure out, are you really into something where you need to get some professional advice about your mood? Some of the other things a person ought to look at, trouble concentrating. I mean, because of my job, I'm concentrating all the time. But I would have periods where I'm in a conversation with someone like you, and my mind is just off somewhere else. Trouble concentrating, overeating, undereating, sleeping too much, sleeping too little, not enjoying the kinds of things that you typically do. Those are all indicators of perhaps being depressed. But I want to emphasize that for most of us walking around, if you're feeling like you're in significant emotional pain, that is the time for us to get over, as men, whatever it is that's holding us back from getting help and getting to a qualified professional person, either a primary care physician, a social worker, or a psychologist who can walk you through the assessment to figure out whether you really are clinically depressed.
You can get more information about the show and our guests at primarycare-tv.com and continue the conversation on Facebook and Twitter.